Recording in progress. We're ready, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Good evening. I'd like to welcome Luke Folsom with the Crabapple First Baptist Church, who will lead us in tonight's invocation.
Good evening. Would you join me in prayer? Father, we approach your throne humbly this evening, recognizing that you are the creator and sovereign Lord over all things. Lord, we give you the praise and honor and glory that is due your name. We thank you for giving us another day. We thank you for the breath in our lungs at this very moment and for the opportunity to gather at this city council meeting. Lord, thank you for all the blessings that you've granted to those gathered here today, for health and for safety, for freedom, for the opportunity to live in such a great community, and for the ability to work hard for the good of our city and its citizens. Lord, your word says that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for all people, for kings and for all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. For this is good and is pleasing in the sight of God our Savior, who desires all people to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth. For there is one God, and there is one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself as a ransom for all. So Lord, this evening I pray for our mayor, I pray for our city council, I pray for our city officials and employees and all who are gathered at this meeting, that they may govern wisely according to your will. Lord, I pray that you would give them wisdom to govern amidst the conflicting interests and issues of our day. Lord, I pray that you would grant them a sense of the true needs of the people in our community. I pray that you give them a true thirst for justice and righteousness. I pray that you'd give them the ability to work together in harmony, even when there is honest disagreement. Lord, I pray for peace in their personal lives and joy in the task that you have called them to. And Lord, I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give them an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in our beloved city of Milton. And Father, I also lift up the brave men and women who serve as first responders in our community. Lord, I pray that you would grant them wisdom and protection as they serve. I lift up our school teachers and administrators and staff. Lord, give them strength and endurance to finish out the school year well and to continue to invest in the next generation. And Father, I lift up the citizens of Milton. As our governing authorities lead well, may we lead peaceful and quiet lives, godly and dignified in every way. And may you receive all the glory and honor and praise that is due your name. It's in the name of Christ Jesus that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I would like to call the regular meeting of the Milton City Council for Monday, May 16th, 2022 to order. The city strongly recommends that you review tonight's agenda carefully, and if you wish to speak on any item on the agenda, then please bring your comment cards to the clerk as soon as possible. While the Milton rules allow a speaker to turn in their comment card up until the clerk calls the agenda item, once the agenda item is called, no more comment cards can be accepted. Now I'd like to take this moment to welcome two very special guests. We have Salter and Burke Lewis, who is being mayor of the day. They've been fantastic. They toured the police and fire headquarters today. They rode around in a fire truck. They looked at they took a peek at the door to the evidence room. Didn't go in the evidence room. They went into the interrogation room, and they've had a wonderful time visiting City Hall today. And later on, y'all will be leading us in our Pledge of Allegiance. So thank you both for coming. So will the city clerk please call the roll and make general announcements?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll be happy to call roll for the May 16th, 2022 regular meeting. I would like to remind those in attendance to please silence all cell phones at this time. Those attending the meeting who would like to make a public comment, you are required to complete a public comment card prior to speaking on the item. Your comment card must be presented to the city clerk prior to the agenda item being called. All speakers, please identify yourself by name, address, and organization before beginning your comment. If you are representing an organization, you are required to complete an affidavit stating you have the authority to speak on behalf of that organization. Please review tonight's agenda, and if you would like to make a comment, please bring your comment card to me now. Demonstration with any sort within the chamber is prohibited. Please refrain from any applause, cheering, booing, outburst, or dialogue with anyone speaking. Anyone in violation will be asked to leave. As I call roll this evening, please confirm your attendance. Mayor Peyton Jamison.
Here.
Councilmember Paul Moore,
Here.
Councilmember Juliet Johnson,
Here.
and Councilmember Carol Cookerly.
Here.
And Mayor, for the record, Councilmembers Andrea Veerhoff, Jan Jacobus, and Rick Moore are absent. I'd like to now turn it over to our Mayor of the Day, Mr. Mayor Salter Lewis.
Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. We're going to come down and give you some certificates. Come on down, take a picture. Those key cards work 24/7. Parents, want to take a picture? You want to take a picture, Kyle?
No, I'm good. We're good. We're good.
You sure?
Thank y'all. Y'all been amazing today.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Straight A's, right?
Right, Dale, we're done. Thank you.
I just want to make sure 167. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, will the city clerk please sound the next item?
I'll be happy to, Mayor. That next item is approval of the meeting agenda, agenda item number 22154.
Okay, I would like to add an executive session to discuss land acquisition, personnel, or potential litigation.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve tonight's meeting agenda with the addition of an executive session as, for the purposes read into the meeting.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Johnson to approve the meeting agenda as amended. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Next is general public comment. Do we have any general public comment?
Mayor, I do not have any general public comment tonight.
Okay, so I will waive the public comment information and I will ask you to call the next item.
And Mayor, that will be our consent agenda. I'll start with Agenda A, approval of the May 2nd, 2022 regular city council meeting minutes. Agenda item number 22155. Item B is approval of the May 9th, 2022 work session council meeting minutes. Agenda item number 22156. Item C is approval of change order number 1 to the Public Works Maintenance and Operations Services Agreement with Triscapes for removal of stormwater inspections and reallocation of that funding allowances for supplemental task orders. It's agenda item number 22157. Item D is approval of change order number 2 for professional services agreement between the City of Milton and Tunnel, Spanger, and Walsh, known as TSW, for the preparation of the United Development Code, UDC, to extend the timeline for project completion. It's agenda item number 22158. Item E is approval of financial statements and investment report for period 6 of March 2022. Agenda item number 22159. Mayor Jameson?
Thank you. I'd like to open up for a motion.
So Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Johnson to approve the consent agenda as read. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Okay, so we will move on to reports and presentations. Will the city clerk please sound the first item?
Mayor, that item is proclamation recognizing Memorial Day. Mayor?
Thank you. As we all know, we have Memorial Day coming up on May 30th. We're going to have our ceremony at Freedom Park that Monday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's going to hopefully be fantastic weather, and I hope everyone will come out and honor the Memorial Day. So it is my honor to read this proclamation. Whereas Memorial Day was first proclaimed on May 5th, 1868 by U.S. General John Logan, and 100 years later, Congress determined that the holiday would occur annually on the last Monday of May. And whereas the first shots of the American Revolution through the Civil War, 2 world wars, and more recent conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, members of the U.S. military have fought valiantly and served honorably. And whereas we will never forget the more than 1 million Americans who have died to preserve our freedom, as well as the tens of thousands who were prisoners of war or declared missing in action. And whereas the state of Georgia and Milton particularly was home to many such men and women who selflessly answered the call to serve our nation and fought for freedom. And whereas on this Memorial Day, we honor those heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice and in so doing continue to inspire us. And whereas we invite the community to remember them during a special ceremony on May 30th at Milton's Freedom Park. Now, therefore, we, the mayor and the city council of the city of Milton, Georgia, hereby dedicate and proclaim Monday, May 30th, 2022 as Memorial Day in the city of Milton, and call this observance to the attention of all our citizens. This is given under my hand and seal of the city of Milton, Georgia, on the 16th day, May of 2022. So I hope everyone will come out Monday and have a good time. I guess there's no proclamation or any presentation for
Yeah,
anybody
there'll be
else.
some that you might present at that
At
actual
Memorial Day.
ceremony, and
Okay.
it will be from 10 to 11.
Great. And all the information is on the city website.
Yes, ma'am.
So we will move on to the next item.
The next item is the community development update. Our community development director, Mr. Bob Buscemi.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I promise to keep it as short as we can, but as you can see, I have the group here, part of the group, not the whole group, but part of the group. The way we set things up, I really feel like we have a good high-performing team in ComDev. We've set things up where everybody takes a lead on certain items, and then it's their responsibility to get that accomplished and completed, and everybody's helping everybody, but there's always a lead. So you'll see groups coming up, presenting their individual accomplishments. We missed last month's report, so this month's a little longer. So I'll just give you a couple of quick ones. All right, so with new employees, we have a new site inspector. Is it up there? Yeah. New site inspector started today. Craig, I'll have him come in at the next meeting. Every time we have a new employee start, I usually let him slip till the next one, and then I'll bring him in and introduce him to you. But he started today, so he's got I think we got a good find. He was working for Forsyth County, worked for Cherokee County. He had a lot of experience. So he'll be taking on, Josh was in that role, and Josh moved over to Public Works to assist them. So that left that open. So then we filled it with Craig, and I'll introduce you to him next week. But I'm glad we found somebody good, because it's one of those positions where it backs up real fast, and we have a lot of inspections every day coming through. And the building official position is still open, but I have the interim building official here tonight just to give you some updates on what we've been doing with him. Fire Station 42, site construction has started. So the project is underway officially, and shop drawing submittals are in. So in the beginning, while they're doing some of the site work, we're doing all the shop drawings and submittals. That's when we're buying the project out, selecting all the products. Today, that's critical because of scheduling and product availability. So I've kind of changed my formula a little bit on how to run these things. We're buying everything out a whole lot earlier than we normally would. Normally, I would buy it out as we progress through. Now I'm ordering windows and doors like from day one. So it's almost like these things are almost a year out on some of them. So it's kind of a crazy purchasing policy. But I've really changed everything to maintain schedule. And then cross-training within the department has been another huge initiative, and with the help from Steve, we've really pushed on cross-training. It's an initiative that I really wanted to start. We've created a department training program. So cross-training is everybody's kind of helping out, teaming, and everybody's training from one another within the department. So that's been working out really, really well. We're also doing a lot of field training. So the staff is going out in the field. So a building official might take somebody out with them and say, okay, this is what I'm looking at. This is what it looks like. Somebody else takes you out and says, this is what the site looks like. There's a foundation. This is what we're looking at. It's really important because I think people who just stay in the office aren't seeing what's physically out there, and the people that are out in the sites aren't seeing what's in the office. So we're sort of training each other so we get a much even review process, and everybody kind of educates each other, and they work together as a team. It's been very successful, and it's something that I think is really good. I've been tracking everything with Bernadette. Hours of training, what we're training, courses we're taking, really just not going for a convention or something, but really taking a course where you get a certificate and you sort of elevate your standing in the profession of what it is that you're looking to do. And Bernadette's been helping me track everything. We're doing all the SOPs and getting everything in. And I told Steve this morning, all of this is really, really helping. I can honestly report to you all that everything I'm doing is just really, really nurturing and helping the team to work, so I think it's really great. We're also doing some, I told you about project teams where we're grouping up. So everybody's in a team. Nobody's working alone. Somebody's the lead, but there's always somebody behind them. You go on vacation, you want to ask a question, you sort of want to team up. So you're not doing anything individually. You're not just out there alone. So it's kind of nice to have somebody to work with as a group. And then board training. I'm going to have Robin get up and talk about board training because we've been doing a lot of board training too. So.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. So with the change in January, we had a lot of new members of our various boards. So we've been working hard on having training for them to get them ready for their new jobs. So January 26th, we had training by our city attorney, Paul Fricke, to the Planning Commission. And then in February 24th, we, as staff, presented the Deerfield Highway 9 corridor, what's going on with that. And then on March 23rd, we had a presentation of the comp plan update 2040, the short-term work program, so that the Planning Commission can get up to date on where we were with them at that point in time. We've also they've asked us to give monthly updates on the comp plan and our status of our short-term work program to keep them up to date on how that's going. February 15th, the Board of Zoning Appeals, along with the Design Review Board, had a joint training again by the city attorney. And then the Atlanta Regional Commission sponsors a great training for board members. And so we had one of our members from Planning Commission attend that. It was a 4-session training, a hybrid. A couple of them were in person, a couple of them were online. And I think that she got a lot out of that, and hoping that some more people will be able to participate if they have a fall offering. So staff is trying to give the tools to our new board members and commission members so that they feel comfortable and feel confident in doing what they've been asked to do. So thank you.
Now we'll have building department, Joe, our interim building inspector, chief building official. He'll be giving, we've been doing a lot of updates on policies and procedures. Keep that up, keep it running. And even get our ISO rating, because there is an ISO rating on buildings, and we're looking at that as well. So, Joe, do you want to go?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. How are you this evening? I would like to mention that there's several different things that I've identified as a result of evaluating the building department. One was the certificates of occupancy forms, which have currently been updated. The ISO rating is very important. Also, there's another rating, the International Accreditation Service, which is something that the city might want to consider in the long term. I will say this, that you do have a great team here in the Community Development Department. They have been instrumental in allowing me to assess the department and change a lot of different things and make improvements. So I will say this. In the short term, standard operating procedures are being looked at currently right now, and departmental policies. So that's pretty much it at this particular moment in time. But if there's any questions for me, please let me know.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to have different staffs come up. We're going to talk about bonds, what we've done with the bonds. And then City View Workshop, which we've been telling you we wanted to do, which we did. So they'll go through that. The Planner of the Day update, because that's been very successful. Our Strategic Plan War Room, our Project Management Initiatives, our Highway 9 Beautification Initiative, our Tree Canopy Study, which I think you'll be proud of. We're doing it in-house rather than a consultant. And our placemaking and branding. So we'll just go through some of those. And then at the end, the permit techs will get up and tell you how many permits we've been getting and how it looks. So I'll sit down and let them.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In line with the review of our standard operating procedures, staff has conducted a thorough review of our bond process as it relates to development bonds collected during the LDP process. Typically, our department collects 3 bonds: a development bond, an erosion control bond, and a landscape bond for trees. These bonds are secured in the event a developer is unable to complete all work within the project scope outlined in the construction drawings. There are 2 types of bonds that are accepted: a cash bond or a paper bond provided through a surety company. And this review has allowed staff to do several things. Number 1, work with legal and confirm the accuracy of our bond agreements, create a standard operating procedure for collecting and reimbursing bonds, documenting and clarifying bond requirements for developers, and then it's allowed us to increase our coordination with the finance department for tracking all bonds and for recording their status.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As Bob mentioned, we recently held a City View public training. This was something that we really wanted to roll out so that we could talk to members of the community, so different contractors and homeowners who may be using this process, and really give them an overview of the permitting process, and then also dive in on frequently asked questions. And we had 9 people attend. We did it back in April, and we were able to have a really extensive and productive question and answer session. So I think we were able to identify some major problems, and then also solve some solutions and get some good feedback from them.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The Planner of the Day started on March 4th, and since that time, we have processed over 170 questions. When a question is resolved, it is checked off in the pod tracker. Our goal is a 24-hour response. Another great feature is we are able to log repeat questions, and you'd be surprised how many repeat questions we get throughout the week. This allows us to give a unified and accurate response when we reply to questions. Overall, this is a fast track of pod the last 2 months, and I appreciate your time.
And Council, tonight I'm going to show to you our strategic plan and short-term work program war room. So as Bob said, it's really an exciting time and busy time for our department. And we have several exciting projects coming up this year. And one of these projects is the execution of our short-term work program year 1 projects. So it's pretty exciting. As part of our approach to managing multiple projects, we have set up a war room. And as you can see, we have maps, pictures, and in a spreadsheet of all our projects. So this room is designated for us for like a collaboration meetings with team leaders and various stakeholders. So if you happen to be in the ComDev area, please stop by and check out our room. Thank you.
Me and Jackie have recently been working on the ComDev project management initiative. This is really about creating visual boards for us to focus our long-term projects on. So what you're seeing at the bottom of the screen is actually examples of some of the project management boards that we've created. And these are basically outlines to most of our long-term projects. So this is how ComDev is kind of keeping a finger on these. So as y'all come and walk through ComDev, you'll see these at the end of our desks, visually checking off all of our progress as the project progresses.
Yes. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is Shubha Jangam and Chris.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
So based on the input we received from some of the council members, there is a strong desire to scale up the look on the Highway 9 corridor. And as a first step, we are actually looking at analyzing what's there and making businesses comply with the current code. So planners, many of us, and code compliance working together on this project. We have identified more than 300 businesses on the Highway 9 corridor, and we have taken pictures of their buildings, premises, and signs. And code enforcement is reviewing their property maintenance issues, and I'm particularly looking into their signs to make sure they are in compliance with our sign code. What you're seeing on the screen here is a GIS map where it's all going to be documented, and it's going to be an interactive map later on. And you can click on the business and find out if they are in compliance or in violation. So that's in the works right now. And so essentially this is a database that we can actually update periodically. That's the plan. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I'm here to talk to you about the tree canopy study. As you may be aware, the Tree Conservation Canopy Ordinance requires the city to conduct a tree canopy study in the fall of 2022. So we are beginning preparation for that. Right now, we are in the research phase, and we are looking at the previous studies that were conducted in 2012 and 2017, and which were done using the iTree Canopy software. So we're looking at using that software, or if we can do something a little better than the iTree Canopy. So we're doing the research for that. I'm going to be working with Emily on that in ComDev. She is now our new GIS person. So our target is to have it completed by November 2020, and we will be back to report the results to you then. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'd just like to share a brief overview of our placemaking initiative that we've begun working on and why this is so important. Placemaking is both a philosophy and a practical process for transforming public spaces. But at its heart, it is a people-centered approach to the planning, design, and management of public spaces. So today, I simply wanted to share more about this creative process and how it's beginning to take shape and really come to life. At Bob's suggestion, I have included an image of a roadmap that we sketched out in its purest form, which are my messy notes. But Bob has turned his sketches on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard into this beautiful building that we are sitting in tonight. So I have full trust in him that sharing that piece is critical for you to see where these ideas are all beginning. This roadmap here has a 5-step process to really get the community involved in observing, planning, and really help shaping a place. In step 1, you can't see it, so I'll highlight them for you. It's define place and identify stakeholders. So in step 1, we're identifying our entry points, marking the businesses in each character area, and identifying the stakeholders that are key to involve in the process from the very beginning and to keep them involved throughout. In step 2, we're evaluating space and identifying issues. We're exploring the possibility of placemaking workshops, pop-up engagement, creative online engagement, and we're looking to take some valuable lessons from our neighboring municipalities to not only develop our brand, but reveal it. Now, step 3, this is the part we have been referring to as the heartbeat of this process. This is the place vision. This step is where we hope to identify our mission or statement goal. This is where we will develop a unique description for each character area, complete with concept plans and action plans. Step 4 refers to short-term experiments and management. That'll include things like public art, local programming, and lighter development projects. And step 5 is long-term improvements and ongoing reevaluation. Creating great places is an ever-evolving process, ensuring that the vision for a space always mirrors the goals of the community is arguably the most crucial part of this process. So I look forward to providing more updates as we continue to make progress on this initiative. We are looking to find a firm that we can partner with, that we can lean on to provide expertise while still keeping this a grassroots effort. This is really exciting. It's very energizing. Milton's a unique city, and we look forward to showing the community just how powerful their collective vision can be. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and other staff members. Rima and I quickly just have some numbers to report. We have been going through creating the Georgia Stormwater Report for other staff members, and it's a bi-monthly report. And with that, we've discovered that we have processed over 300 permit applications in the last 2 months, a third of that being building, a third of that being trade permits, and the other third is pool, plumbing, sign permits, just various permits that people submit for throughout the day. So that gives us about an average of 8-9 permits that we have to view every single day, and that REMA has to issue permits for every day. So we'll keep these updated a little bit better as we learn the system a little bit more since we've switched over to CityView. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Any questions for Bob? Any questions?
No questions for you, but thank you all to the staff. That was a really fun presentation to hear all of you and to see your participation and your contribution.
A lot of good work ahead. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate
They all
it.
wanted to come in and talk to you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Top of their list of things to do tonight.
Yeah.
I was honored that they all wanted to come in and talk to you all.
Are you
So I
buying
said,
dinner
"No,
for them
I'll be
afterwards?"
Thank you all very much.
Okay. Well, City Clerk, please stay on the next item.
Mayor, that next item is discussion of RZ 2204, a text amendment to prohibit outdoor storage in the Crabapple Form-Based Code, Article 19, Crabapple Form-Based Code. Miss Robin McDonald.
Okay, again, good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tonight, we're going to be discussing the text amendments to the zoning ordinance regarding the prohibition of outdoor storage in Crabapple Deerfield Form-Based Code. So the purpose and the objective, these text amendments is to ensure the beautification of the Crabapple and Deerfield Form-Based Code commercial retail areas. The objective of these text amendments is to codify the prohibition of the storage or sale of goods in parking lots or other areas outside of the interior or permanently sheltered portions of a building. So you can see over here kind of One of our target items that we in the past have had issues with in the Deerfield, primarily Deerfield form-based code area. And so we'll continue on talking about that. At the March 22nd CZIM meeting, there were no comments on this subject for this text amendment. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of these two text amendments at their April 27th meeting as presented by staff. It's, like I said before, historically, there have been issues with placement of drop-off boxes for clothing or other items for charities and parking lots within the Deerfield Form-Based Code retail shopping areas. Currently, there are prohibitions within the traditional zoning districts such as C1, ONI, MIX. Really what we have left of those are up at Birmingham Crossroads. But there are no prohibitions specific to the form-based code. And that's what, within that code, we have to go by what is within that portion of the form-based codes in Deerfield and Crabapple. So that's why we're bringing this to you as a text amendment. There are occasions when an administrative permit is issued for seasonal sales such as Christmas trees or fireworks stands, which would be permitted by an administrative permit. So there are certain exceptions to be able to have those type uses in parking lots and other areas. So this is the proposed text amendment. They're exactly the same for both Deerfield and Crabapple, but basically it states the storage of goods or sale of goods in parking lots and other areas outside of the interior or permanently sheltered portions of a building is prohibited except as expressly permitted in Chapter 64 zoning. And then under A, the sale of goods displayed under sheltered portions of a building shall be brought inside the building prior to closing of the business. So this picture to the right of the twisted thread, they do a great job of exactly what we're talking about, where you may have display. There is a portion of the building that covers that area, and they bring in the display every night. And so that's really what we want to see as far as display nearby, adjacent to the buildings, but also addressing the issue of various items getting placed in parking lots. So I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have on the subject, or if you're okay with it. This will, there'll be a first reading right after this, and then you'll make a vote on it in the first meeting in June. So.
Robin, so I know there's more to the code than we're looking at tonight, but is that like seasonal things when you've got, I don't know, right now, it's probably not a good example. Well, it is a good example. I'm not sure it's within our footprint, but like Home Depot, if it's seasonal plantings and they want to bring in racks and racks and racks and expand their display into the parking lot area, is that covered by this?
Not exactly.
necessarily with
That
Home
was
Depot as an
all
example, but-
done prior to the, that was built and permitted before we became the city of Milton. So they're grandfathered that example of, the Home Depot, or if sometimes Walmart. Walmart's pretty good about keeping it within the building area.
Yeah.
So, but like, for instance, every year they come with their tent permit for their Christmas trees and greenery, and that gets permitted through us. So for
Okay.
their additional storage. But
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Will the city clerk please say on the next item?
Mayor, to read the next time into record, it's the discussion of RZ 2205, a text amendment to prohibit outdoor storage in the Deerfield Form-Based Code, Article 20, Deerfield Form-Based Code,
Okay.
which Robin just spoke of.
Okay, so we'll move on to first presentations. Will you please say on the first item?
That item is consideration of U22-02 to request a use permit for an indoor auditorium, Section 64-1846 at 12630 Crabapple Road, Suite 340 by Itasca Walk LLC. Agenda item number 22161. Our B item is consideration of RZ 2204, a text amendment to prohibit outdoor storage in the Crabapple Form-Based Code, Article 19, Crabapple Form-Based Code, Agenda Item Number 22162. And finally, item C is consideration of RZ 2205, a text amendment to prohibit outdoor storage in the Deerfield Form-Based Code, Article 20, Deerfield Form-Based Code, Agenda Item 22163. Mayor?
Thank you. I'll open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the first presentation items as read.
Second.
Okay, have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Cookerly to approve the first presentation items. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. So we will move on to our public hearing.
Mayor, that item is consideration of the issuance of an alcohol beverage license to Hkmp Holdings LLC, doing business as Savi Provisions at 12630 Crabapple Road, Suite 120 in Milton, agenda item number 22164. Our Assistant City Manager, Ms. Bernadette Harville.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have before you an application for an alcohol beverage license to be issued to Hkmp Holdings LLC, doing business as Savvy Provisions. The business is located at 12630 Crabapple Road, Suite 120, right here in downtown Milton. The applicant originally applied last summer and is not restricted by any of the moratoriums that have been enacted over the past 7 months. The application is for an off-premises retail package store selling beer and wine, including Sunday sales. Savvy Provisions has also applied for the add-on license of a craft beer and/or wine market for both beer and wine. Here you can see the signage that they put out. As a reminder, the add-on license for a craft beer and wine market has a few requirements with which the applicant must comply, including an interior floor space of which 60% or more is devoted to the retail sales of craft beer and/or wine for consumption off-premises, food preparation, or grocery sales, including shelving and displays. 60% of the gross sales must be derived from retail packaged beer or wine for off-premises consumption, prepared food and meals, groceries, or any combination thereof. And consumption on premises may only occur Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. You can see the floor plan for Savvy Provisions on the screen in front of you, and they are in compliance with the 60% requirement, and their affidavit for food and beverage sales ratios is also in compliance with code. On the map before you shows the location of the business in relation to other businesses in downtown Milton that are licensed to sell alcohol, as well as those that are pending approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have, and I'll be back before you later this evening during new business to obtain an official vote on whether to proceed with the issuance of this license.
Thank you. Any public comment, Tammy?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, board members, council members, rather. My name is Michael Sard. I'm an attorney at Sard & Leff Attorneys. I'm here representing the applicant. Mr. Deshang Patel is here. Love your support of this application. We'll reserve the rest of our time and be happy to answer any questions that we can for you.
Will you say your address also?
My address is 3789 Roswell Road, Atlanta, 30342.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I will close any more. Is that it?
That's all, Mayor.
Okay, so I'll close the public hearing. Any questions for Bernadette? Okay. If we will call the next item, please.
Mayor, that next item is consideration of the issuance of an alcohol beverage license to Hkmp Holdings LLC, doing business as the Liquor Market at 12630 Crabapple Road, Suite 150 in Milton. It's agenda item number 22165. Bernadette?
Before you is an additional license for Hkmp Holdings LLC, this time doing business as the Liquor Market. The business is located at 12630 Crabapple Road, Suite 150, right next door. The applicant originally applied last summer, again, and is not restricted by any of the moratoriums that have been enacted over the past 7 months. This application is for an off-premises retail package store selling distilled spirits, including Sunday sales. No application for an ancillary tasting license has been made at this time. A warrant for the liquor selling establishment was issued for this location on August 19th, 2021, and is currently required by Chapter 64. The following products are prohibited from being sold in the location either by Chapter 4 or the language within the warrant that was issued by Community Development. No CBD or vape products, no games of chance or lottery products, no video games or tobacco products.
And the hours of operation are right there below that are specifically specified by the warrant. They differ slightly from what's in Chapter 4, but that is what their warrant allows. Again, you can see the location right next door to Savvy Provisions, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have, and we will vote later this evening.
Thank you. Any public comment?
Yes. Mr. Michael Sard?
For the record, Michael Sard, Sard and Leff Attorneys, 3789 Roswell Road, Atlanta, 30342, here representing the applicant. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more? I'll close the public hearing and open it for questions. Paul?
Bernadette, these are literally next door to each other, aren't they?
I'm sorry, sir?
Two locations, the application just prior to this and this one are literally next door to one another.
Yes, by law, there has to be two separate suites in order to have the distilled spirit sales. So the applicant is in compliance with those rules by having these two separate suites next door to each other.
And so are they intending to be complementary to one another? Is that the whole point of the two applications in the side by side? Or are they independent operators?
If you'd like to talk to the applicant, I'll have them come up and answer that question. I have not asked that question directly.
Okay, yeah, if you
So,
don't mind.
would you like that?
Real quick, hey, Ken, can we do this now or should it be
Or wait
later
till
on?
The decision obviously will be made later, but you have every right to ask the questions now. It's perfectly in order.
Thanks.
Good evening. To answer your question, so it's the same ownership, same operators. They are literally just separate businesses, but the intent is that they will feed off of one another. If that's the right way to say it.
Are they complementary to one another? Or are they going to have competing?
No, they definitely don't have competing products. The liquor store is literally selling distilled spirits only.
Okay.
And then the Savvy Provisions, from an alcohol perspective, is selling beer and wine. There's no common products between the two.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, we'll move on to the next item.
Mayor, that next item is consideration of the issuance of an alcohol beverage license to serving Crabapple, doing business as Milton's Cuisine and Cocktails at 800 Mayfield Road, Milton, Georgia, and it's agenda item number 22166. Ms. Bernadette Harville.
Our final alcohol beverage license application for this evening is for serving Crabapple, doing business as Milton's Cuisine and Cocktails. They too are located in downtown Milton at 800 Mayfield Road. This business holds an active license for consumption on premises for beer, wine, and distilled spirits, including Sunday sales. The application before you is for the add-on license to be an alcoholic beverage caterer. This allows a licensed retailer to transport and serve alcohol at off-site events. Each event hosted within the city limits will also require an approved catered event permit. These individual caterers, cater permits are free for the resident caterers for those whose businesses are authorized a license by city council. Again, just for location of where the business is located right there at the traffic light. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And again, you'll be voting later this evening.
Any public comment?
The applicant is here or the representative is here if you have questions, but no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right, we'll close the public hearing and move on to the next item.
Thank you.
Mayor, that item is consideration of a moratorium regarding permits for display and sale of adult video or printed material and/or adult instruments, etc. Agenda item number 22167. Mr. Ken Gerard.
Mayor and members of the council, this is a public hearing. I will handle the lead-in on. On April 18th, the city council imposed a time-sensitive moratorium that prohibited applications for building permits, LDPs, or any other sort of regulatory permit for adult bookstores. The Milton zoning code defines an adult bookstore as an establishment or facility licensed to do business in the city, having a minimum of 25% of its stock and trade comprised of the following sorts of items: books, magazines, periodicals, DVDs, CDs, novelties, paraphernalia, etc., all depicting various specified sexual activities. And what the city of Milton is doing right now is taking a look at your adult bookstore definition and thinking about whether or not that 25% limitation makes sense, and whether or not we need to retool how we are in fact defining this sort of activity. And to do that, you need time. And so in April 18th, we put in place a 30-day moratorium Following a public hearing, which the mayor will call in just a few moments, then when you get to this under the next section of the agenda, if you adopt this resolution, we will be extending this moratorium quite a bit longer. In fact, we will be extending it until December 19th. That will be enough time for us to consider this issue, put together something to rework it, bring it back to you for the requisite number of public hearings, and then hopefully have in place a different sort of adult bookstore definition that may be more consistent with what Milton is looking for. Mr. Mayor, we do need to have the public hearing. No action until we get to it later in the agenda.
All right, thank you. Any public comment?
We do not, Mayor.
All right, any questions for Ken? All right, so we will move on to our next item.
Mayor, that next item is consideration of an emergency resolution of the City of Milton extending existing combined moratorium on the acceptance of new alcohol applications for craft beer and/or wine markets, limited tap establishments, limited services restaurants, breweries, microbreweries, distilleries, microdistilleries, and consumption on premises other than incidental service, BYOB, farm wineries, golf courses, hotels, special event facilities, or eating establishments in the City of Milton, and on the acceptance of applications for development permits, building permits, rezonings, modification variances, use permits, warrants, and any other permit provided in the zoning ordinance for use of property for craft beer and/or wine markets, limited tap establishments, limited services restaurants, breweries, microbreweries, distilleries, microdistilleries, and consumption on premises other than incidental service, BYOB, farm wineries, golf courses, hotels, special event facilities, or eating establishments in the City of Milton. It is agenda item number 22168. Ms. Bernadette Harville.
Good evening again. Before you is an emergency resolution to extend the existing combined moratorium related to the acceptance of applications for the plethora of items that our city clerk just read off, and I'll spare you from rereading them. They are related to the consumption on premises in establishments that do not qualify as our traditional eating establishment or some of the specified ones we have for incidental service, BYOB, farm wineries, golf courses, et cetera. Here before you can see a timeline on the moratorium process that has been in place, providing a ban on the acceptance of these related applications while staff has worked with the Planning Commission and Council to draft edits to Chapter 64 zoning as it pertains to alcohol-related businesses. We initially started the moratorium process back in October 2021. Here are the key dates and occurrences that have led to the request for a moratorium on these applications. In the summer of 2021, staff started receiving applications for business concepts that were not contemplated under Chapter 4 at that time. Throughout the fall, staff brought forward a series of edits to Chapter 4 and had some in-depth discussion with council related to new business concepts that included consumption on premises but did not qualify as the traditional restaurant or eating establishment. Feedback from those conversations led to the drafting of RZ 2114, which included the issuance of administrative variances for such activity. When RZ 2114 made its way to the Planning Commission, there was a request for a joint work session with the council to discuss concerns that the commissioners were having. The joint work session was held on December 6, 2021, and the result was a new direction to staff to change the approach from administrative variances to council-issued use permits. That joint work session yielded a new timeline and new edits to the Chapter 64 under RZ 2203. Staff sought additional feedback and clarification at the February 14th City Council work session to ensure that the standards and conditions in the use permits were in line with the council's vision. Those edits were brought before CZIM on March 22nd, 2022, and to the Planning Commission on April 27th, 2022. At the Planning Commission meeting, the commissioners deferred the item and requested additional time to review the material. The moratorium before you, should you approve it later this evening, would extend the ban on those applications and provide staff another opportunity to reconvene with the Planning Commission and then bring the item back before council. So this would be an emergency moratorium for 33 days, and then Robin and her team would advertise and extend it the entire time needed to do all the rest of the processing due to the deferral.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, so I will close the public hearing. Any questions? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So there are no items on our zoning agenda or unfinished business. Moving on to new business, will the city clerk please read the zoning rules and sound the first item?
Mayor, that new business item is consideration of a moratorium regarding permits for display and sale of adult video or printed material and/or adult instruments, et cetera. It's agenda item number 22167. Mayor, we do have one public comment.
Okay,
I would like to call Mr. Strong to the podium, please.
thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and staff. My name is Steve Strong, 1646 Manhasset Farm Road, Dunwoody, 30338. I am a licensed professional engineer and executive in the electronics industry and a longtime business person looking to exit the large corporate world and start a small business of my own. In this particular case, the business in question is a small, upscale, welcoming, specialty boutique type of establishment. I'm looking at Watercress Village, which is just a tiny little piece. It's barely inside of Milton, surrounded by Alpharetta. And the pertinent portion of this resolution, from what I've read, the items in concern are what in the industry would be considered pleasure products. And nothing else in the definition applies to my particular business. Basically, the way I like to describe the business in question is it's Victoria's Secret meets CVS. It presents as a very upscale lingerie boutique with approximately 80% of the store being comprised of apparel, including lingerie, men and women, and a substantially smaller portion, less than 20%, being the products in question as part of this resolution. It's also important to note that CVS in the city of Milton already has a actually pretty impressive display open for everyone who walks through the store of the products in question. So this is not something new to the city of Milton. It's already been sold and is being sold. One difference is, of course, that in CVS, anybody is allowed to walk through the aisle with those products on display. In our case, it's a company policy that it would be customers 18 and over only, not because of any legislative or ordinance requirements, but just simply a company policy to help have prevent, let's face it, it'll typically be teenage boys coming in and looking at lingerie and kind of being disruptive in general to paying customers. So I would say the two main takeaways for you all to consider is one, like I said, the products in question are already being sold in the city, so this is not something new. What is new is the fact that I'm trying to meet a perceived market need. It is something truly unique in the city of Atlanta, and I would dare say unique in the state of Georgia, in that this is not what you think of as the definition uses the term adult bookstore. As a matter of fact, it's our number one priority to not be considered an adult bookstore or any other form of sexually oriented business because of the fact that we do present as that specialty upscale boutique with highly trained staff. They receive continuing education on a monthly basis, and we are there quite simply to help fulfill a market need to help couples of all kinds enhance their romantic lives. So if there's, I do have, if it helps, a real estate brochure that I made up that gives some more details. If you wish to see it, I can leave it with you. And of course, if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Feel free to leave it with our city attorney. Thanks. Any other public? Thank you. Any other public comment, Tammy?
That is all, Mayor.
Okay, so I'll close the public comment. And any questions, comments before I open it for a motion? Okay, motion.
I'm not sure how I would ask my question.
Motion will work just fine.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve agenda item number 22-167 as read.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Cookerly and a second from Councilmember Moore to approve agenda item number 22-167. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Will the city clerk please say on the next item?
It's the consideration of an emergency resolution of the City of Milton extending existing combined moratorium of the acceptance of new alcohol applications for craft beer and/or wine markets, limited tap establishments, limited service restaurants, breweries, microbreweries, distilleries, microdistilleries, and consumption on premise other than incidental service, BYOB, farm wineries, golf courses, hotels, special event facilities, or eating establishments in the City of Milton, and on the acceptance of applications for development permits, building permits, rezoning, modifications, variances, use permits, warrants, or any other permit provided in the zoning ordinance for use of property for craft beer and/or wine markets, limited tap establishments, limited service restaurants, breweries, microbreweries, distilleries, microdistilleries, and and consumption on premises other than incidental services, BYOB, farm winery, golf course, hotels, special event facilities, or eating establishments in the City of Milton. Agenda item number 22168. Ms. Bernadette Harville.
Before you is that 33-day extension, giving community development enough time to advertise and do the more lengthy moratorium should you want more time to consider this item.
Thank you. Any public comment?
There are none.
Okay, close the public hearing. Any questions for Bernadette? Okay, open for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve agenda item number 22-168 as read.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Johnson to approve agenda item number 22-168. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Will the city clerk please say on the next item?
Mayor, that next item is consideration of a resolution of the mayor and council of the City of Milton, Georgia, authorizing a one-time premium payment for eligible city employees using funds received under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Agenda item number 22169, our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Stacy Inglis.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. If it's okay, I'll do my little presentation from up here. Really don't have much of a presentation. I spoke to you a few weeks back about different eligible uses for the ARPA funds, and you were interested in providing premium pay to our employees. And so the resolution before you is codifying what you want to do for the employees. Just to summarize, the premium pay would be $600 per month during the eligible time period, which is March 17th, 2020, and March 22nd, 2021, for a period of 1 year. It'd be $600 per month for sworn officers and firefighters that worked in person during that time, for the amount of months that they worked in person at the time. So if they started in the middle of that, they'll get paid for half of it. And then $200 per month for sworn people, civilian employees who also worked in person during that time. Part-time personnel would be prorated based on the number of hours that they worked. And it would be one-time lump sum payment, and all applicable eligible, employer taxes will be paid and employee taxes will be paid. And then all this would be funded by the ARPA funds. The total amount to come out of ARPA funds is $638,800 for those two. That's the maximum amount that would come out for this particular eligible use. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you. Any public comment, Tammy?
There are none, sir.
Okay. Questions for Stacy? Okay. We'll open up for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve agenda item number 22-169.
Second?
Okay. Have a motion from Councilmember Cookerly and a second from Councilmember Moore to approve agenda item number 22-169. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Yep,
thank you. If the city clerk will please stay on the next item.
And that's consideration of the issuance of an alcohol beverage license to Hkmp Holdings LLC, doing business as Savi Provisions. It's located at 12630 Crabapple Road, Suite 120, Milton, Georgia. Agenda item number 22164. Ms. Harville.
Good evening again. This is our application for Savvy Provisions, an off-premises retail package beer and wine with Sunday sales, and an add-on license for a craft beer and/or wine market for beer and wine.
Thank you. Any public comment?
There are none.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Questions for Bernadette? Open for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve agenda item number 22-164.
Okay, have a motion from Councilmember Cookerly and a second from Councilmember Johnson to approve agenda item number 22-164. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Please stay on the next item.
Mayor, that next item is consideration of the issuance of an alcohol beverage license to Hkmp Holdings LLC, doing business as the Liquor Market. It's located at 12630 Crabapple Road, Suite 150 in Milton. Agenda item number 22165. Ms. Harville?
Again, same owners, right next door, just having an off-premise retail package, distilled spirits with Sunday sales.
Thank you. Any public comment?
We do not, Mayor.
Okay, I'll close the public comment. Questions for Bernadette? Okay, open for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve agenda item number 22-165.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Cookerly and a second from Councilmember Johnson to approve agenda item number 22-165. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. So please stay on the next item.
Mayor, that item is consideration of the issuance of an alcohol beverage license to serving Crabapple, DBA, Milton's Cuisine and Cocktails, located at 800 Mayfield Road in Milton. It's agenda item number 22166. Ms. Harville?
Mayor and council, this is giving Milton's Cuisine and Cocktails the ability to serve off-premise at approved catered events and special events for the city. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any public comment, Tammy?
There are none, sir.
Okay, so I'll close public comment. Questions for Bernadette? Paul?
Bernadette, just one question, and this is a new application for them to include alcohol with their catering services. They haven't been providing alcohol in their past catering experiences, or is catering also new to them?
The changes we made require, even at our own events here held by the city, to have this catering license now. So Milton's is coming into compliance to be able to do those types of events. And with that, the advertising and everything is required because it is a license. So just a little bit of the tweaks that happened, and Milton's is just getting their official license to be able to do those events.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. I'll open it for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve agenda item number 22-166.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Johnson to approve agenda item number 22-166. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. City Clerk, please stay on the next item.
Mayor, the final new business item is the consideration of a final plat. The name of the development is Kingsley Estate. It's Phase 1, all units, and Phase 2. It's an overall development. It's a final plat revision. The total is 96 lots, and the purpose of the revision to the plats below that I will be reading is to convert the public streets and public easements to private egress, and utility easements in accordance with the resolution unanimously approved by the Milton City Council at the regular meeting on December the 6th, 2021. All existing public streets to become common area owned and maintained by the HOA. It's a total of 145.4 acres, that's including all phases, and the density is 0.66 lots per acre, and that includes all phases. Phase 1, Unit 1 is land lot 265, 266, 311, and 312. It's District 2, Section 2, a final plat revision. It's 45 single-family lots, includes 0.047 acres of R&W, I believe that's right-of-way dedication, at Freemanville Road. It's a total of 59.23 acres with a density of 0.75 lots per acre. Number 2 is Phase 1, Unit 2A. It's land lot 265, District 2, Section 2, final plat revision. It is 6 single-family lots, a total of 7.281 acres with a density of 0.82 lots per acre. Number 3 is Phase 1, Unit 2B, land lot 239, 265, 266, District 2, Section 2, a final plat revision, 6 single-family lots, 7.531 acres, 0.79 lots per acre. The number 4 is Phase 1, Unit 2C. It's land lot 239, 266, District 2, Section 2. It is a final plat revision. It's 11 single-family lots with a total of 14.516 acres with a density of 0.75 lots per acre. The fifth one, is Phase 1, Unit 2D, and Phase 2. It's land lot 194 and 239. It's District 2, Section 2, a final revision. It's a 10 single-family lot. This is for Unit 2D. That's 17.884 total acres with a density of 0.55 lots per acre. And the Phase 2 is a total of the revision is 9 single-family lots. It includes 0.721 acres of right-of-way dedication on Birmingham Highway and 12.562 acres of common area, number 6 recreational area, a total of 25.823 acres with a density of 0.34 lots per acre. Phase 1 and number 6 is the Unit 3A, and that's land lot 266 and 311. It's District 2, Section 2. The final plat revision is a 9 single-family lot with a total of 12.147 acres with a density of 0.74 acres, lots per acre. It's agenda item number 22170. Our land development manager, Ms. Tracy Wilds. A lot.
We tried to get her tonight.
How'd I do, Trace?
Mayor and council, the revision to the Kingsley State final plats is before you tonight for consideration. This is a 96-lot subdivision on 145.40 acres that was developed in 6 phases, and each phase was platted separately. Kingsley Estate is located on the far north end of the city, just before the Fulton-Cherokee County line, with an entrance off of Birmingham Highway and another entrance off of Freemanville Road. The graphic to the right identifies the phases, the plats by phase and by units. In accordance with the HOA's request to privatize the subdivision, the final plat revision is to convert the public streets and public easements to private ingress, egress, and utility easements in accord with the resolution approved by Milton City Council on December 6, 2021. All of the existing public streets are to become common area, owned and maintained by the HOA, and this revision applies to all plats recorded for Kingsley Estates. This graphic represents the abandonment process, and we are in the final stage of this process. The abandonment process started in 2018 with the initial application submittal from the HOA. Since then, it has gone through 2 public hearings, the latter of which occurred on December the 6th, 2021, and a resolution to approve that abandonment was at that hearing. After this resolution was approved, the next step was for the HOA to submit a subdivision plat meeting all of our requirements within Chapter 50, and tonight is before you for that approval. If it's approved tonight, then the next step is to record this revised plat, and a quitclaim deed to abandon the right-of-way will be executed. All of the plats executed by each phase, again, is on the left, and then a summary of the right-of-way area and the easement within each phase and unit is identified to the right. All of the plat information and documents submitted do meet our requirements per city code, and I'll welcome any questions.
Thank you. Any public comment, Tammy?
There are none, sir.
Okay, close the public comment. Any questions for Tracy? Paul?
Tracy, in the process to secure the opportunity to go forward with the city, the HOA had to conduct a survey of the residents. And in your chart, I believe it showed 100% compliance or 100% support from the community. Is that an accurate statement?
I'm not certain. I would have to defer to Ms. Sarah Leaders, Public Works. I know that she's been in communication with the HOA.
Okay. Do you know You don't have any idea what the percentage?
I do not.
was? Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Open it for a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve agenda item number 22-170.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Cookerly and a second from Councilmember Moore to approve agenda item number 22-170. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. We will move on to council reports. Does council have anything to say? Okay, so we will move on to police.
Greetings, Mayor and Council. All right, technology is working now. Currently, in our crime overview, crime is up a tad. We're up 12 cases from this time last year. However, half of those were driven by burglaries to storage units within one single complex. Of course, those have to be listed as 6 separate crimes. However, the cases were quickly solved by our detectives working with other local agencies, and arrest has been made in that case. Our crash overview, we're also up slightly by 8 accidents. One area where we're seeing crashes up significantly is in the construction area at Bethany Bend and Hopewell Road. I'm sure you've all been through there and seen the obstacles that our drivers are seeing there, but we are increasing patrols in that area. Of those crashes, even though we're only up 1 personal injury crash at this time. As far as community engagement, in April, we participated in the community egg hunt. I had a great time engaging with some of our younger citizens there. As you can see from the photos, very well attended, and just a great time was had by all. Also in April, we participated in the DEA Drug Take Back Day. And to sort of springboard off of this, because we always get these bags and bags of drugs that need to be disposed of, prescription drugs. And we worked in conjunction with a grant through CVS Pharmacy and got this drug take back box. So now we're able to offer this to our citizens every day that our lobby is open. So they can bring them in, and then we have a means to dispose of those in-house. We'll still participate in the drug take back day, but this is just another added service for our citizens. Also, in May, we participated in the Special Olympics torch run. You probably noticed that area there. Might have seen even the chief out there running around a little bit. Rainy day, but for a great cause for Special Olympics. We actually passed the torch on to the Roswell Police Department, who picked it up. So great time there. And this was a great lead-in into our National Police Week activities. We had the Mpd Back the Blue blood drive. It was very well attended. We have all of the slots taken for appointments. We had that in conjunction with Stone Creek Church, who let us use their facilities, and very successful event. We also hosted a citywide shredding event, also very successful. Our goal is to get sensitive documents out of circulation to reduce the chances of fraud occurring with our citizens. Then in this room, we had the Fallen Officer Memorial Ceremony. It was just a very somber but well-attended ceremony. We did this in conjunction with the Roswell Police Department and the Alpharetta Police Department. We hosted this year. As you can sort of see in the background there, we had Tracy Wilds and Tammy Lowett to sing our national anthem for us during that ceremony, so we very much appreciate that. And then we ended the week on a high note with our Mpd Awards Ceremony. Therein with our Officer of the Year, Laura Hamby, who's been with us a few years now. We also had Rookie of the Year and Civilian of the Year, and just a lot of awards that went out recognizing officers' educational attainments and other great work going on within the agency. So it was a great week all in all. We enjoyed it internally, but we also really enjoyed engaging with our citizens during these events.
And that's all I have unless there are any questions.
Questions for the chief? Paul?
Chief, just a comment. I really appreciate what appears to be a heightened level of activity for monitoring speeding across the city. See the guys out and about quite a bit lately. However, got one request that's for two different roads. If you could take a look at how often we are tracking speeds besides the new posted speed signs on Freemanville. I would just request that we try to find a way to up our presence on Freemanville throughout. It's a long road, obviously, but I continue to get complaints from the constituents about Freemanville. Same thing for Henderson Road. For whatever reason, Henderson, as a pass-through coming from Cherokee, seems to get a high velocity of speed. I know that we are attentive to that, but I continue to get complaints about that. Outstanding job by the guys. I passed, I think, 2 or 3 of them on my way here this evening, and they were out doing their hard work. Always appreciate what they do.
Thank you. And we'll look into those.
Thank you.
Thanks, chief.
Thank
All right, Tom? Baseball's over.
That will conclude my report. All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. Happy to provide a quick update on what's been happening in Parks and Rec. First, let's start with our programming metrics. Over the winter, we had a program satisfaction rate of 79%, which is above what we strive for with our program providers. And as you can see from our spring program registration, numbers are strong. Eagle Six girls and North Georgia Rec boys lacrosse, they seem to always hover right around that 500 to 525 number, and we're there again. Hopewell Baseball saw a very large increase once again this season, with over 1,000 kids now. So we're getting a lot of kids on those baseball fields. Tennis, same old. They're very steady. Terry can only take so many folks with the 4 courts there. And then youth dance, we had a class that it seems to be a continual class that just keeps making. So we're working on how can we get those other classes that she offers making. And I think we're looking at some good opportunities at the Milton City Park and Preserve at the community center there. And last, we have a youth basketball program that occurs in the spring. It's more of a training. It's not really a league. So 82 is a pretty strong number, as a matter of fact, for that spring basketball season. So what are we looking at for the end of spring and what's upcoming in the summer? We just had our Tai Chi class, 70% filled, which is really strong. It's the most we've had in a Tai Chi class, so that's good to see. And early reports are showing increases in most of our summer programming as well. We've got Camp Joyful Souls. It's already at 83% capacity filled. Some weeks are like 1 away from filling up the weeks. So as the word spreads week to week, those latter weeks at the end start filling up when the new people join and see how great the camp is. Those weeks at the end fill up. We've also got photo camps. Our photography camp we have 1 week that's full. So we're doing good things with the photography camp. We got another one with some openings still. Hoping to keep filling those camps up. Swim team for this summer, par for the course. They are killing it out there. They've got like 200 something swimmers, low 200s right now. They kicked off end of last week. So the pool is open, past inspection. So we're moving there. We've also got a short baseball season. We call it the Sandlot season. It's a little less commitment. You're not going out on the weekends. It's usually just a weekday thing for those parents that want to keep their kid in like rec ball, but it's not as much of a high commitment. We've got basketball camps, girls lacrosse camps, adult soccer at Bell Memorial Park. We moved it over to Bell for this summer with Cox Road getting shut down for the construction. And we've also got youth dance camps that are occurring this summer as well. So here's some ongoing and completed projects that we've got going on right now. On the left, we've got the Parks and Rec Activity Guide. We've received very positive feedback from that guide. Gives our residents an opportunity and the department to increase our visibility on our programs. And it gives us another marketing opportunity for our programs and partners. Seems to be working very well.
We had the ribbon cutting for the Milton City Park and Preserve Community Center and the trail on April 23rd. It was a perfect introduction to the Earth Day celebration we had immediately following. Great response from the community, and a lot of citizens really took place in the event, for sure. Lastly, I'd like to thank our partners at Triscapes and the team at Public Works for creating that lovely trail. Spans 2.25 miles if you do the up and back. And also thanks to Community Development and Pencor for the work that they did out at the club, at the community center. Speaking of the Park and Preserve, we're just a couple of weeks from that pool officially opening for this summer. And very excited to see how that goes with a newly renovated building and restroom facilities available. It's going to really, going to be nice. It's going to be nice. I think the residents are really going to respond well. Cox Road Athletics Complex, the turf project is officially underway. We broke ground. This picture that you see here was about 10 days ago. So they've already started tearing up the grass and they're moving and grooving out there. And we're expecting that project to probably be completed in August, as long as things keep moving on as scheduled. Next time you head out to Providence Park, you'll notice some nice new amenities out there on the bottom right. We had a Boy Scout complete a project to receive his Eagle Award. He installed environmental signage and a couple of park maps along the White Trail, which is the ADA trail. And then we also, that same weekend, I believe, had Stone Creek Church come out and they did their City Serve event, and they revitalized the picnic area off of the Yellow Trail, which is that picture on the bottom right. And they also did the outdoor classroom. That's on the bottom right. The picnic's on the other side. Turned out really nice. Coming later this month, we will have the Memorial Day celebration on Monday, May 30th, 10 o'clock, out at Freedom Park. Questions? Questions for Tom? Paul?
Tom, at the new City Park and Preserve, I know that Council Member Bentley used to be very prolific about her request for available bathrooms for the tennis players. Are the restrooms now available to tennis?
They have been for months.
Oh, fantastic.
Once the restrooms were completed, we put a combination lock on that door to get into that section of the building, and we locked off the rest of it.
Okay.
So they've been accessible.
Same thing for users of the trail. They can use the same facilities.
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Terrific. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Chief? The other chief, or vice versa. Thanks for everything today. That was good stuff. Yeah, I asked the kids which one they liked better. And unfortunately, after going in the fire truck and looking at the hoses, the police, I mean, it just.
That's why I always pick the slot.
So I think next year,
police.
next year we might need to maybe create a fire and let them kind of get on the hose. We'll see. Just a little campfire or something, Anyway,
She could approve of that.
they had a great time. Y'all did a fantastic job. So
Well, good evening to you. So this week is actually EMS week. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my firefighter EMTs and paramedics for the outstanding job they do in practicing medicine in this city. I think they provide second to none emergency, non-emergency medical services to our community. So I'm really proud of them. So I just want to bring that up. All right. And how we fit in for the update. So our total incidents right now for the last 3 months, a total of 788, up 3 calls from this same period last year. We've had some increases in fire inspections, instant pre-plan, plan reviews, and then hours of community service, as well as our Milton Fire Cares, our community paramedicine program has grown significantly, and we're having an impact in our community with that program, especially with our vulnerable population and elderly population. We provided over 568 vaccinations over the last 3 months, and we continue to provide vaccinations, especially with the 4th booster. We're getting calls from specific members of the community, or they stop by, so we provide that service as well. Again, the trends continue the same up and down in different areas. We're still averaging about 45% to 50% emergency medical calls. It's because of the demographics of our city. We're unlike any other cities where they're running typically medical about 80 to 85%. So
Milton Fire Corps is up and running. Just want to provide you, they do a phenomenal job. That are volunteers. They support us during large events, structure fires, any extended time type incidents. They provide rehab services, that is water, some food. They clean our gear from fires, our equipment. They show up. They're members of this community. They're phenomenal. We have about 26 members. So I just want to share some hours. They have averaged about 150 some hours for the last 3 months, and they provided support with care, training. They showed up at training, station upkeep support, beautifying some of the fire stations. It's all volunteer time that they provide. They're very active. We're working actually now with North Fulton, maybe is combining and having a North Fulton fire corps, so that, because we get a lot of support from Alpharetta, and then in turn I'm working with the Roswell Fire Chief to actually share the Air and Light truck, which is a rehab truck, so we don't have to go buy one. We'll be using, Roswell will provide that, we'll provide the fire corps. They don't have a fire corps yet, so they're hoping to build it, but we collaborate and saves us both significant amount of money. So. Some other updates. I have 4 firefighters attending Cherokee County Fire Rescue Paramedic School. That is due to the relationship that we have built with Cherokee County. This is at no cost to the city. We saved about $20,000 in tuition reimbursement for the 4 firefighters. We only paid for their books. They're doing very well. Hopefully within 13 months, they'll be certified paramedics, which is great. It just augments our advanced life support services in the city. We're also submitting for reimbursement through the Stafford Act for COVID-related expenses, about $62,188.72 for the COVID vaccination clinics that we provided over the last year, or period of last year, $44,000, and then overtime backfill for COVID leave was about $17,000. So we're submitting that documentation right now to FEMA. As far as accreditation, Commission on Fire Accreditation International, we have completed our community risk assessment study report. We took all the different development areas of the city, Crabapple, Birmingham Highway, and we kind of analyzed the risk specifically to those areas, and we rated all the risks. It's a lot of work. It's about 100 and some pages document. But that is the first step. We have to understand what kind of risks they exist in our community in order for us to effectively deploy resources and ask for resources. So that's the first piece. The second piece of this is we're hoping by September we will submit as a candidate agency to start the process for the assessment. And that's another lengthy process. They'll come and visit and make sure all the stuff that we put in here is actually true, right? So they have to check. If I'm hoping by early fall, we could potentially be accredited and become one of the 300 out of 31,000 fire departments in the nation to be accredited. That is about 0.89 agencies, so it'll be great. A lot of work, but we're getting it done, and I'm hopeful that we will get it done. So. As far as just an update for our fire department strategic plan, we have completed 100% goal 2, 5, and 7 ahead of schedule. And we're also working towards completing priorities goals 1, 3, 4, 6, and 8. We're about 80% complete. So we're working through our strategic plan. Now, the exciting stuff. Milton Community Connect. So we launched as part of our reorganization for our programs and softwares and bringing everything under one suite. Community Connect is just another piece of our first due suite that logs all our incidents, our infers incidents, how we do our reports. That saves the city about $14,000 in the next budget year by going to one suite instead of having these multiple programs. Now it's all in one. So Community Connect is just a bonus. And what Community Connect is, essentially it's a community preparedness and resiliency tool. It's for residents, functional need organizations, senior care homes, businesses, HOAs, pretty much anybody in the community. And they can sign up, takes about 5 minutes, and they can share information with us. I'll show you a brief video here in a little bit that talks about that. Some of the information is really important for us when we respond to an incident. That information that the citizens share actually has the same level of encryption as banking. So it only shows up when we have a particular call at that address. I'll give you an example. If we have a special needs, for example, a person or child in that house, and you share that information, when we come to that emergency, we know. So we adapt our response, how we approach that special needs child or an individual, or even if you should have 3 dogs. We know that if there's an event of emergency, you have 3 dogs, you know what they look like, right? Or we have 5 bedrooms and we have the kids sleep in this bedroom. And so all of that stuff helps. Or even having a key with a neighbor. So if we have a fire alarm, for example, going off, instead of us breaking your door or window, that information comes up and says, check with the neighbor or call so-and-so or call me. So then we can work through that. Obviously, if it's on fire, we're going in, right? But before to check. So it really saves our community money, saves us time. But then we're working together to prepare and be a resilient community. So that's the goal of Community Connect. Right now in the whole state of Georgia, us and Sandy Springs are doing this. And then Alpharetta is kind of watching us, what we're doing. And then as well as Johns Creek and Roswell. And we're hoping the 5 cities will go to the same program so that when they respond here, they'll get the same information. We'll respond and help our neighbors will get that same information. So this is unheard of around the metro Atlanta. We're like the 5 cities, incredible the amount of cooperation that we have. So I will share with you what the website looked like and then a quick video. So this is when you log in, there's one specific for business owners and one for residents. Business owners can share alarm company information. That's the biggest issue, by the way, because that changes. And we panel trying to shut it off. There's no fire, trying to call the alarm company. We don't have the numbers. So that's an opportunity to keep that up to date. And we have different campaigns. We're working with the equestrian committee in the city to document the barns, the type of horses, all the special things that we might need to know in case we respond to one of those properties. So it explains what is a Community Connect. There's a quick message, and then I'll share the video. This sort of sums up what I just shared with you.
As your fire and EMS agency, we are here to ensure we do whatever it takes to protect you and your family. However, there are many valuable pieces of critical information that can help save lives and property in a real emergency that we don't know until we arrive at your door. Things like how many occupants to expect at your home, if anyone has access or functional needs, or speaks another language, whether or not you have pets or livestock, structural details like where the bedrooms are, or even where hazardous materials may be located. But now, with Community Connect, you have the power to keep us informed of nearly everything that matters, so we can better serve you when emergency strikes. Community Connect is a safe and secure online program available at no cost to all residents that allows you to provide us with critical property and occupant information that we can access at the time of response, leading to better outcomes in case of fire or medical emergency. So, what are some examples of the kind of information you can contribute? First, your family members. Who lives at your residence and how to get in touch during an emergency. Next, your property. Things like where your family's bedrooms are located, your gate and door codes, if you have a pool or basement, how to shut off water and electricity, and even where your family's emergency meeting place is located. Your needs. Details regarding functional needs like mobility, Alzheimer's, autism, severe allergies, visual or hearing impairments, and more. And last but not least, your pets. Their picture, their names, their habits, and even their veterinary information. So no matter what happens, your furry family members are always known about and taken care of. Signing up is easy. From any internet-connected device, it just takes a phone number, email, and an address. Rest assured, all of your data is safe and only available to our first responders during the time of response, using the same data security and encryption standards found in online banking. If you have 5 minutes to sign up, please select the link to create your profile and get started helping your first responders help you.
So I have some cards. Tammy has some cards. We have these. We're going to put them in our rigs and we'll share them and pass them down to our community. So we already have 207 people signed up since we started about 2.5 weeks ago. And we're already actually going to calls and we're using it. The information comes also from the assessor, the initial from Fulton County assessor. So we already know what the square footage of the homes and sort of the layout, that's already part of that. But any additional information obviously helps us better serve you. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Quick question. Does the police have the same access to this? The same-
No, but the police can access it through, if we have information, we're on incident, we can share that information because it's readily available really quick.
Oh, that's good stuff. You have a question? No?
No, just a
Okay.
comment.
Okay.
Just wanted to say, Chief, again, thanks. And you and Chief Austin make us proud every single day. Kind of leadership you both set in this city is extraordinary. It sets us apart from all the surrounding communities in so many ways. And I just want to let you know how much I personally appreciate it. I'm sure all of council does as well. And Chief, I said this to you coming in tonight. Had a chance to say it in public the other night when you were not here, how proud I was to be from Milton when I was on a business trip the other day up just to Jasper, Georgia, to conduct some business in my everyday life, and had a chance to meet Chief Tim Prather, who has just joined the Jasper Fire Department as their new chief, having just retired out of Cherokee. And one of his proudest moments was showing me this award that he had received from you as a recognition of his service. And I can't tell you what it made me proud as a citizen, also member of City Council, to be able to share in that his pride in the award that he had received from the city of Milton. So just another extraordinary effort, and just can't thank you enough for constantly, both chiefs, for representing our city in such a fine way.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Chief. And me and Chief Austin spent 2.5 hours on Sunday at a cycling event at a workshop. So I appreciate you being there as well. We represented the city of Milton. Very, very good. So appreciate it. Anything else? Okay. We are not having executive session, so there you go. So open up, change. So open up for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All right. I have a motion from Councilmember Moore and a second from Councilmember Johnson to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.